Sativa, indica, or hybrid?
Sativa, indica, or what?
Hybrid.
Hybrid.
Yeah. That's what you chose, hybrid?
Are you asking me what would I choose, or
Yeah, what do you prefer?
I think nowadays everybody is gonna lean more towards the hybrid because it gives you a cross of some of your favorite strains. Um, the sativa itself and indica itself, I think those days are behind us. Um, because people have like a short grace period of liking that particular strain. So being able to have two or three in one gives people like the best of all worlds. Instead of having to you know, buy this strain to get this effect, buy this strain to get that effect, you can get a hybrid and be able to get them all without breaking the bank. There's a narrative behind marijuana that it's supposed to leave you like a couch potato, right?
Right.
But that's not the case. That depends on, again, the sativa, the indica, dominant of that particular strain. So a sativa gonna give you that, you're still gonna be able to move around. You're still gonna have energy. You're still gonna be, you still gonna have a uplifting energy about yourself, where indica can put you in like a calming. And indica strains are for people who's supposed to have anxiety issues,
Right.
That may be dealing with PTSD. A lot of retired vets like to go indica dominant because it gives them a feeling where they're not overly anxious.
Right.
And they can calm down, and it's supposed to act as something like a Xanax, where if you feel yourself being overly excited about something, an indica dominant constraint will bring you back down and have you calm and collective. Sometimes you won't be able to get up off that couch, but for the most part, it's gonna drive that high anxiety feeling and bring it down to a mellow state of mind. And me personally, I don't want to be in that state. I like to be in I want to be able to move around. Maybe like if you're trying to go to sleep. A lot of people use those also to go to sleep. People who have trouble sleeping at night. Those will help you be able to go to sleep faster. And it also helps as a pain reliever.
Right.
So the hybrid gives you the ability to not have to have one particular dominant in that particular strain that you choose, right? Because some people want to be able to have a little bit of energy, but yet I'm still trying to be laid back and relaxing, but I still want to be able to not go to sleep. Right. So that hybrid, gives people the opportunity to have both in one, or it's so many as a F4 is being able to have 4 different strains in one strain.
What's that?
Branching. It's a F4, right? So that's taking 4 different genetics and crossing them, right? Hey. So every time you cross,
you got my attention now. Huh? You got my attention.
So if you look at your pack, right, and whatever it may say. Let's just say it say blueberry runts, right?
Right.
That blueberry is gonna have his own set of genetics.
Right.
That runts is gonna have his own set of genetics.
Okay.
And it's gonna go all the way down to the original strain. Every time you, excuse me.
I think I get you. So what is?
So there's an original.
Okay. I got you. I got you. My silly ass. So what you basically saying, like the blueberry got two different genetics in it, right?
It got different genetics in it. It come from two
Right. Gotcha.
strains. Yeah.
So
And
that
then
makes
that runt's gonna have his own set of genetics. It's kind of like the dog game, right?
I got you.
You know, you look at the history of where your dog came from,
Right.
and where the bloodline. So it's where the bloodline originates at, and you get that dog, and you got another bloodline that may come from California, but the original bloodline might originate in Atlanta.
Right.
You take it and you cross it, and now you didn't created another bloodline for the next person who gets it.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay, so with that being said, right?
I get you.
I have a problem with so many people in the game now are taking it and crossing and creating these different strains, right? And a lot of people are unhappy about it.
Why is that?
Because as a breeder, there's supposed to be a trial and error before you mainline it. And when I mean mainline, it means kick it out to the streets. Right. So a lot of these up and coming breeders take a seed out of a pack, grow it. If it turn male, they'll breed it with a credible breeder's strain, cross it and call it their own shit, right? But there ain't no as a breeder, they go through extensive trial and error to create a strain that meets the consumer's needs.
Right.
So meaning it may take 2 or 3 years before they even be able to put it out there. But now we have everybody knows you could take a seed and if you cross pollinated it with another a feminized plant, meaning that's a plant that can produce more seeds, right?
Right.
You can create a strain, and it ain't nothing to have that seed end up in a seed bank. Now, you know, you might be looking and say, hey, that's how they be coming up with a trillion names. My thing is, how do we know as consumers who's credible? Because they allowing damn near anybody to brand a strain and put it in the market.
When you say they, who you talking about?
Man, I'm talking seed banks, right? The seed banks, they distribute.
So what you saying? There's no regulations on the seed banks.
Now that I can't fully tell you, right? Because I ain't a breeder. I'm the one who searches. I'm searching for good genetics, and that's called pheno hunting. Pheno hunting is a person who's growing, right, trying to find a dope strain that meets all his qualifications, which that means, you know, good terps, good yields. You know, my plant is gonna be mold resistant, pest resistant, all of those things for you to have a perfect grow. Cause you can buy. I didn't buy many seed packs, right? I grow them bitches get mold, or you know, a bug can destroy it just by.
So
A
hey,
bug can,
when you there's some that got mold, how do you know it wasn't because of how you grew it?
now there are conditions, right, that'll put your plants at risk of mold. But
Right,
but breeders, right? Breeders can create genetics that you can put your plant in those same conditions and mold can't do nothing to them.
really.
Yeah. We're in an era now, man, where credible breeders make it to where the growers don't have that headache. And that's what I mean. They go through a lot of trial and error, right? To
Right,
create a genetic that makes it easier for the grower, because all growers are in different climate conditions, right? For
right.
instance, us here in Missouri, man, we have
Uh,
high humidity.
Go ahead.
So an outdoor grower and or indoor grower, depending on how you growing, are subject to mold at a high, like we're high risk for mold due to having high humidity. And to break that down in simpler terms is high humidity equals
More moisture.
more moisture on the plant
Right.
with less airflow, which creates a mold condition, right?
Man, I was about to get off into that, but you kind of jumped to it. Um, Once again, there's some consumers out here that probably think we're talking in some foreign language. What when you hear a person say, "Oh, he's smoking on that outdoor," or "I got that indoor," what does that mean? Because
Outdoor,
you, you was going,
outdoor.
you was going into it. What's the difference? What's the difference between outdoor and indoor grow?
So in most people, man, let me throw this out here. Most people who buy, I can't even just say black market, even dispo, they don't even know the difference between none of these things because they all have similarities, right?
Right.
That can pass them off for a different quality. So straight outdoor is a sun grown plant with no type of with 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 no type of shield. And when I mean shield, there's nothing around it that's going to prevent it from, being attacked by um, pests,
No tarps.
animals. It's
Yeah.
just out in the open,
Right.
and it's sun grown from seed. Well, it's sun grown all the way up to harvest because I can't say from seed because some people can start indoor and take them out. And then you have a greenhouse.
Okay.
Greenhouse is a step up from outdoor, and that's where you put your plants into a greenhouse, which protects them from it. It protects them more from the pests. You're less likely to have mold, except here in Missouri because we have high humidity, so you're gonna be moistured out unless you have good airflow, and you kind of have a little bit more control on on whether or not you want to go full sun grown or you can do a light supplement. We got shorter days, so you can go boom from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then put lights for the rest of the way. You can.
Isn't that also called light depth?
So I'm gonna get into light depth next.
Okay. Okay.
That's not light depth.
That's
Then you
not.
got
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. Then you got light depth. Light depth is you controlling how much light that plant is gonna get and being able to force it into flower faster than being outdoors and letting the natural light cycle turn into flower. So
So
light depth is
light depth never goes outside, right? That's what you're saying.
no light depth is outside.
For real.
Yeah,
I thought
light
that. You
light
just put
depth.
something.
Light depth is like me having a greenhouse, right?
Right.
And I'm wanting to flower it. But the outdoor flowering cycle don't really start until like August. But if I wanted to go light depth, I can go out there and cover it up with some type of light deformation, which they use like a what the fuck is it called?
A
It's
tarp.
like a tarp. You put a tarp on it, right? And you're gonna cover it at a certain time and uncover it at a certain time to force it into flower.
Huh. Okay. Okay.
That's how people who are, who stay ahead of the game as far as being able to have multiple harvests, they usually do light depth. That's probably the best method to being able to have the most harvest outdoor and still have like a indoor effect because you covering them up, protecting them right in a greenhouse. You also using a little bit of light decoration, meaning you might throw a little bit of lights in there, and you covering them up, cutting the lights off, kind of like you indoor. That's what covering them with the tarp is like cutting your lights off.
Okay.
That's like a step below indoor grown. That's why the prices kind of differentiate from outdoor greenhouse light depth. Light depth and indoor don't have too much of a price difference
Really. I didn't know.
because you can put high quality cannabis out there using that light depth technique if done correctly. You definitely got to be on time with how you cover and uncover your plant every day. Most people who do light depth, they ain't got no job. This is their job because you have. I tried it before. It didn't work out for me because my schedule wasn't where I was able to get to it at that time every day. Because if you don't, that'll create that'll put that plant in a stressful stage. It'll harm out. You'll have a lower yield. It'll go back to veg. All kind of shit can happen if you ain't consistent on how you do your light depth. Most people like on a real big grow farm, they have the automated tarp that comes over and
Yeah.
uncovers. They hitting yields, big yields all year long. Cause it's gonna automatically cover at a certain time. It's gonna automatically uncover at a certain time, right? You
Right.
can't beat that, right? Cause you're getting sun grown cannabis with an indoor environment.
So indoor is exactly what it's named.
Now
That's
indoor,
that's the holy grail. It never comes outside, right? That's indoor.
it don't never come outside, and and you got complete control of the whole grow. Meaning, if you get some real gassy, real funky ass weed that's, the nugs are super hard, everything's fresh about it,
Yeah.
more than likely that's indoor, right? Because you got control of how much humidity your plant gonna get. You got control of the airflow. You got control of the temperature. You got control of everything about the whole grow that puts that plant in being able to be in the best environment possible to be able to produce the best bud that particular strain, because they have a bio on the plant, right, on what it's supposed to produce.
Right.
That's on you as a grower to be able to pull all of that out. If it got 4 different traits, right, some people might only get 2 of them to get pulled out of it,
Mm.
based on the environment. As the grower, it's on you to bring out the terps. It's on you to bring out the colors. It's on you to bring out the yield. That ain't something that just happened for everybody.
Right.
The indoor grow has more control over bringing all of those out than the outdoor grower, than the light depth grower, in the greenhouse grower. That's why the prices are different.
Right.
I tell people all the time, man.
So
Oh man, I got $1,000 indoor pack. Where at? Where you gonna get that at?
So let's say somebody's, let's say a new grower, somebody that don't know anything, but planting the seed. Which grow would you prefer for them? If you was just starting
Now
out.
it depends on what they trying to achieve, right? If they looking for just a personal pack to smoke on,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's not gonna break their pocket. They can do a small indoor grow and be able to hit a number where they don't have to go to the dispo no more. Me personally, I'm outdoor all day, baby.
Really?
Because I'm outdoor all day because
Outdoor?
you can't beat. Well, I indoor grow too.
Yeah, because I'm not. Yeah, I was about to say.
No, I indoor grow too.
Explain your method, because I would have disagreed. You the grower, I really can't, but I've
But look,
seen
so
I've seen your method, and it don't start outside. So explain.
so it I don't start outside because we can't start outside here in Missouri.
Oh,
Yeah, that's just a Missouri thing, bro.
okay.
If I was in California, Florida, they hit numbers all year long outdoors, man. And guess what? We'll never motherfucking know. Because if it's done correctly, you can imitate an indoor grow.
Outside.
Outside, you can imitate an indoor grow. All you if you take preventative measures, right? That meaning whatever grow spot that you growing in, you make sure it's already pest resistant before you go outside. That means you taking preventative measures to make sure before your plants go outside, it ain't gonna be no animals able to get to you. It ain't gonna be able to be no bugs be able to get to you, right? Of course,
You
are you
know,
gonna still have to fight that battle?
you keep seeing the bugs. Now I can see how you could probably keep some animals out, but how do you regulate bugs? How do you do
Okay, so and this is another thing that goes back to the breeders, right?
that? Yeah.
One of the best effective products that keep bugs away is a mint smell. They hate it. So you know what most breeders do, and these breeders are normally coming from the California, the West Coast region, because they didn't already, they 20, 30 years ahead of everybody else on trial and error on the downside of growing, meaning, you know, the things that you have to deal with, right? So they created genetics, right? They got them. You ever heard of like Oreo mints? Anything that got like a mint in its name,
Yeah.
all of those strains is bug resistant, mold resistant. I don't give a fuck where you put that plant at. They're not gonna touch it
Really?
because they figured out as long as these strains have that trace of that genetic in there, it makes it resistant to be able to be attacked. So if you're in an environment, right, where you know you are high risk of getting mold, I look and I when I buy my seeds, I look and see all those genetics because I want to know, damn, I know what I deal with, right? I want to make sure that my plant be able to survive the whole year long. And that comes down to the genetics. Some people need colder climate strains. Some people need hotter climate strains, but people don't. They buy it. And I was one of them. Most people buy their seeds based off the name.
Right.
You can't. you can't do that because certain strains can't be grown in certain environments.
Like what strain is hard to grow in Missouri?
Now so when it boiled down to, right? I've tried the Skittles. I didn't have success with that. Most strains that I was grabbing when I first started growing, I was getting attacked with mold conditions, right? And I didn't understand why. But then I went and did research on various strains and was seeing in the bio it shows you, you know, this strain is needed to be in this kind of condition in order to get the full, the bio of that particular strain. So I had limited success with, I can't even count how many, man. Probably 10 to 12 different strains before I really dialed in on what strain that I can grow successfully. Now you can grow these strains, right? But then you gonna, it ain't gonna be no heavy hitter. You know how you can get a pack and you smelling it like, yeah, it got a little smell to it, but it ain't funky. They didn't pull out.
So this is how the people perceive to be fake packs, right? Like, so you'll get a string, like say like I don't know, animal cookies, right? And a person will look at it and be like, "Yo, this don't look like the shit in the you find on the internet, or the buds ain't really, they ain't looking up to par." And a person would be like, "Oh, he trying to sell me some fake animal cookies." But actually, in all actuality, the actual animal cookies, the grower just didn't grow it right, right?
Correct. That's correct. Somewhere along the way, right? Whether it be during the flowering stage, because you got to think. The easiest part of it all is vegging the plant, and that's before flower. Because your plant can bounce back if something happened, right? Say, for instance, you get some type of disease. You got enough time to bounce back from that. Boom, you hit flower. Flower is the stage where you most mold. You at most risk for getting mold, and pests love flowering plants. I've showed you many times where they attack me. They love flowering plants, man. Bud worms, butterflies. If you see a bunch of butterflies and moths, oh, they about to feast on some shit. You know what I'm saying? I done fought moths, man, to damn near to the nail, to the end of my nails, trying to get them out of the area. They love flowering plants, right? So boom, you got to deal with that. And then once you harvest, that's when shit really get hard. Once you harvest and you drying, and if you fuck up anywhere along the way on your dry process, and I'm gonna give you an example. Say for instance, your humidity is incorrect. There's a certain humidity level you have to have when you drying your plant. If that humidity range is off, meaning say for instance you have high humidity, all those terps, that funkiness, you know what's gonna happen to it? It's gonna evaporate right into the earth. And that's where you get that little grassy smell from. Right. They had the terps.
To all you people that's growing out the flower pot and be like, "Yo, Tuck, man, I just grew some heat. Check it out." Y'all better listen to this.
Man, listen.
It sounds like a lot of y'all that grew some bullshit.
Man, listen, I was growing bullshit for 2 years and thought I was doing my thing. Yeah. I thought I was doing my thing, but it took for me to get bad reviews, right, in order for me to, figure out where I was going wrong. Cause yeah, I was growing the shit out of it, cutting it down, harvesting it, and then the dry process killed me. You
So
dry that shit.
how did you realize that it was the drying process and not the grow process that
Well,
had to be fucked
well,
up?
I was using I was using my grow as a template, right? And I was comparing, contrasting it to a lot of people who were having similar issues, meaning via YouTube, Google searches, and even, asking. And to be honest, I had a guy in my corner, man, who was a grow expert, and he used to give it to me real, and I ain't like it, man. I yeah, I used to think he was hating on me, but really he was like, and it's hard to tell your bro, hey man, hey you ain't about to get nothing off that grow, or hey man, that motherfucker ain't gonna come out correctly, because they gonna think you immediately hate.
Right.
So he was letting me know, hey man, you got to get to the books, because I was cutting corners, thinking that I can achieve the same results by taking shortcuts. Meaning, during my dry process, I wasn't really tripping off how much humidity was in the air. I'm like, what the fuck do that matter? I know 10 days, if it's dry, I'm good.
Right.
Boom, 10 days come, you get, damn, where the fuck my smell go? This shit was just funky as a motherfucker. What happened? Evaporated into the earth. And you can't get it back. I don't give a fuck how many humidity packs you put in there. You can't get that back. Once them terps gone, they gone.
Really?
And that's all the way down to even the cure process. If you don't cure your
But
plants
hold on. Can it still be fire as far as the effects without the smell?
now, when you lose terps, right, that's automatically gonna take your grow down a notch. Yeah, you might still get high and shit, but everybody want, like, when you crack your bag open, what's the first thing you do? You gonna put your nose in it.
Right.
That's gonna sell you off the muscle. Oh, goddamn, this shit funky. You ain't even smoked it yet.
Yeah.
You are, yeah, I want this. But when you say, if they do a double take, you lost them.
Right.
They trying to see, damn, do I smell anything? It got a little faint smell.
So
So
so the terps has to do with the taste too, right?
the terps have something to do with the taste. So you can, you know, when you, okay, first you lose the smell, and then it's supposed to have that flavor.
Right.
That's part of the characteristic this particular strain is supposed to carry. Oh, it's supposed to taste like watermelon and smell like, if you lose those, right? So the second thing you do is you smell it, then when you roll it up, you take that hit, you go,
Right.
you look you looking
Right.
for the taste.
So it sounds like there's so many different parts to
It's a lot of variables to it, man.
most
It's a lot of
most
variables to it.
most most people think of THC and CBD, but now when you add terps in, that's like a whole nother section to the weed,
It is. It
right?
is. You know
So
me. You know
so
me personally.
terps is THC is what gets you high, right?
Right.
CBD is the
What's
effect,
supposed
how
is
you feel, right?
correct.
And terps is the smell and the taste of it.
Right.
Is
Right.
there any more parts to it?
So if you it got different characteristics, right? Like, we know like anything that has white in its name, white runts, white widow, white rhino, it's supposed to have one of those bright colored looks. You can lose your looks too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How the hell you talking about this white rhino? This motherfucker darker than molasses.
Right. Yeah. Look. Okay. I'm glad you got into that, right?
So there's so many characteristics that as the grower, you have to bring those characteristics out. That means there's products out there that give you terps. There's products out there that give you that bring out certain characteristics of that strain, right? That's why when you get a nutrient line, it's gonna have so many parts to it. And all those parts supposed to bring out a different characteristic out of that strain. But the conditions of the environment plays a significant part of it. Because you can lose those characteristics, and guess what else you lose? The money you put into it.
Right. Okay. So
You
said as far as the money you put into it. Because I was conversating with Nunu at y'all had an interview. He was giving them some tips on how to grow. And he was basically saying that he was growing organic. Like he was, you know what I mean? He's like, you use like um,
certain products,
yeah,
he uses certain natural products that feed the plant without having to buy out of stores.
so
Right?
so what do you use as far as when he said organic? Like, so you buy your product out of the store. Like, what is that? As far as feeding your plants?
So they have the commonly used way is a synthetic feed. And a synthetic feed is you buying a bottled liquid nutrient out of the stores, right? That got everything that the plant needs throughout that growth cycle already in the bottle. You just measure according to how they tell you to feed, and it gives your plant everything it needs during the seedling stage, which that's when you first grow. The vegetative stage is, as it's growing into its mature plant, and then the flowering stage. It's
is that healthy to the consumer?
I mean, yeah, so it ain't unhealthy, right? The reason people downplay it is because it's not healthy for the environment. Meaning, if I was
wait. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. Oh, if it ain't if it's unhealthy to the environment, how is it not unhealthy to us?
I mean, I want to say it's FDA approved, but okay, say for instance, if I'm using this synthetic nutrient outdoors, right? And
For a minute, man. Hold on for a minute. I want you to go into it, but I'm over here thinking like, man, when the last time I done blew with me? Hey boy, I'm gonna have to go get. Hey, are you? Are you sure?
so yeah, it's filled with a bunch of salts. A synthetic nutrient is filled with a bunch of salts. Plants love salt.
Plants love salt.
Plants love salt.
So plants don't get plants don't get diabetes, but
no, they don't. So when they say it's unhealthy for the environment, so if I'm watering outside,
right,
and I got that runoff that comes out of it, it streams down. It can get into a pond, or it can get into a body of water. Some being washed away. That's the unhealthy aspect, that it can contaminate other sources of water.
Okay, and that's it. Just
so
getting into the water. That's the only danger.
Or
only danger. I mean, I'm talking about as far as the human aspect.
As far as from the human aspect, it don't affect us.
That's what I. That's all I'm worried about.
It don't. It only thing that it affect us. You know how sometimes that you might smoke something and you be like, God damn, this shit harsh. It can be full. It can be filled with those salts.
Ah. So that's where the harshness of weed comes from. A majority of the time.
A portion of it, because it ain't no different than you seasoning your meat, right? To the point you like, God damn.
Pause.
Oh yeah. Pause.
That was wild.
Pause. It ain't no difference than you seasoning your food and you like, this is a little too much.
Right.
And that's why I like to compare my grow to, right? So I don't just grow organic. I grow syngenic, right? And this is the way. I figured out a way to go through a grow without having to buy 1,000 products. Because when I first started growing, man, I was buying bottle after bottle after bottle because this is the way that they throw products on you to get you to spend your bread saying, hey, you buy this, you know, you'll get bigger this. You buy this, and the products is never ending, bro. And I was the one that was buying them all. And I said, you know what? I started dumbing down, man. I started paying attention to what everybody was doing. And I took bits and pieces of it. And I say, I'm going to manipulate it and do it my way, where I don't have to break the bank. So I grow syngenic. That means I use synthetic and organic in my grow. I don't really want to give everybody the game. They got to pay me. But it's a way for me to be able to go halfway this way and halfway this way. And I don't, man, I'm still using 2 years ago nutrients, because this way just had me to where I don't have to use a lot of it. Right. I'm also using Mother Nature as a way to be able to not have to buy as many products too. Something like Nunu. But I don't use the same products. Like my raised beds consist of compost that I compost for years. I use tree branches, and I use the leaves that fall off the trees. Man, I'll be outside. I can't wait for the motherfuckers to fall down. Come on to me. Because it gives me a way, right? All the natural things out there, if you notice, right, if you leave leaves out there long enough, at some point they disappear.
I didn't know that.
They break down. They'll break down, and it'll take a while, but you know how they pile up in a corner, and then rain and hit it, and slowly you'll see that pile starts to get smaller and smaller. They'll break down and get absorbed into the earth or into the ground in that particular spot. So I use them as a way to be able to, over time, I put them into my raised beds. They break down. They start to feed my plants for me.
I want to. No. I don't want to get too far into this because I want to get you on the second episode and give the audience some advice on how to grow, because you got a lot of
my personal advice for anybody who's starting to grow is you gotta simplify it, right? You start off with a synthetic. Write down your trial and error through that. Compare it to another synthetic, right? Because there's so many products out here. My thing is, how is your product better than this one?
Right.
Because if you ask any grower who say, hey man, I use this. I use Humboldt Secret. I fuck with them boys. Them boys know something out there. You ask anybody, they gonna tell you their product is the best. How do we really know that? Right. That's gonna come down to a personal opinion. Because I can't say your seasoning better than mine. You might like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You may like Ray's. I might just want great value seasoned salt. Yeah, my overall food is still gonna turn out where you might be still finger licking. Damn, what you using this? Shit, great value. What? Hey. So I can't really that's why I say people have to not look and go off what everybody is telling, because you know the stores are gonna tell you to buy these products. And I was one. I was like, God damn, I gotta buy that. Damn, I gotta buy that. Now I'm at the point where I tell people all the time, and I argue with people. They go like, man, what you feed your plants? Nothing.
That's what you say?
Man, nothing. I came up with a system where I don't have to feed my plants. The soil gonna feed it for me. Stop. You're too much. If you out there growing right now and you got some questions, tap in. Where can they? Where you got a? I got the Instagram page at mo_grown GRWN_, and yeah, I'm gonna put up a Facebook page. I just ain't really got to it. I just started my YouTube, really, man, and YouTube kind of tricky, man. I be posting shit, and then they be flagging me and all that old shit, man. Yeah, man, they be flagging me, man. I don't really understand that shit, man. It should be pissing me off for real, man. Because like I say, man, I search a lot, man. I don't see nobody who look like us on that bitch, bro. Nah, you really, most definitely not. No, most definitely not. But tune in, download that free Show Talk Radio app. You can get us on Ear to the Streets. That's the Show Talk Radio on YouTube. I'm gonna give y'all a little look at the garden real quick, man. Oh yeah. Let them know you ain't playing, man. I ain't playing, man. So right here, man, I got a five plant grow going in a 5x5 tent. I'm using that 1000-watt old school HPS, and yeah, I just hit flower on these. Then I got my Then I got my 2x2, right? And these like the next run. So I try to do a perpetual growth. A perpetual growth for all y'all who are trying. You gotta have multiple tents. You gotta have that flowering tent. You got to have that secondary veg tent. And all of these are ready to be transplanted and going to flower. Then you got to have the clone tent. What's that strand right there? Which one? These? Yeah. So I got the apes of space. I got apes of spade. Y'all at the dispensary try. Y'all can ask y'all dispensaries if they're carrying these type of strands in there. To these, man, I don't really think they carry out here, man. I wouldn't know. I know you don't. and these, man. Y'all wait till this summer. They won't look the same no more. They won't look the same. But yeah, man, y'all in, man. It was dope, man, coming on here with you.
I'll let you soon.
Let's do this more often.
Most definitely. I'll be down and I'll let you soon, man.